Thank you, Adam, and welcome everyone. Again, my name is Maurice Turner, and I'll be sharing with you some free and low-cost cybersecurity resources that are available for you as you try to keep yourself safe and secure this election season. I'll start right at the top with telework best practices from the Department of Homeland Security, National Security Agency, and CISA. This is their Telework Essentials Toolkit. It's an example of what happens when you target specific audiences, executive leaders, IT professionals, and teleworkers. The goal here is to provide high-level, short lists to be able to check off to make sure that these different kinds of workers are protected, whether they're at home or in the office or anywhere in between. Now, what's great about this particular resource is that it hits on those high-level themes, but again, it's tailored to make sure that it gets the important information in front of the audiences that can best make an impact in those particular areas. Next, I'm going to share with you this resource from Google. Google hosted digital security experts and political campaign experts in a roundtable. It was a frank discussion about some of the trade-offs in implementing these security recommendations against the functioning of a high-profile or high-operating political campaign. Now, I think it's important because it highlights some of that tension that goes between security and operations. And having this kind of insight is important so that you can have those discussions within your organizations as well. CISA also offers specific information just for campaigns. This checklist, again, starts at the high level. It gets to those foundational recommendations that every campaign should have. As you heard from Cliff, attacks are coming from everywhere, and it requires a multi-layer approach to keep up defenses to be able to resist those attacks. So implementing things like two-factor authentication and strong password practices will help out with that. Every campaign can benefit from making sure that they have these foundational security elements in place. Here's another toolkit that's offered from CISA. This is designed specifically for state and local election officials. This toolkit offers a risk profile. It goes step by step to identify and assess the level of risk in your organization if you're an election official. That will help point out which mitigation steps are going to be most appropriate for your particular situation. The Election Assistance Commission has an entire section of their website dedicated to election security preparedness. This again is for election officials to get into the operational side of security concerns, things like performing self-assessments or evaluating election technologies. Now, as I said before, this is geared toward election officials, but it's also a great resource for those in the community, especially journalists, who are interested in understanding how elections are run and what it takes to help keep elections secure year-round. It's not just election day when these attacks happen. They can happen before, during, and even after an election. So election officials need to be prepared. NAS, the National Association of Secretaries of States, has an information campaign called Trusted Info 2022. The idea here is to advocate that election officials are the trusted source of election information. So whether it's a story you see online or something you read in the paper, make sure you get to the source of that information. And oftentimes the election official in your state is going to be that source of information that you can trust the most. The Defending Digital Campaigns organization offers free cybersecurity assistance for House and Senate campaigns. This is a nonpartisan and independent group that has actually gone through the effort to work with the FEC to make sure that these are not treated as in-kind donations. These free or reduced price products are available from top-tier vendors to make sure that House and Senate campaigns on a national scale are defended against appropriately. The Global Cyber Alliance is another vendor-agnostic, standards-based organization that offers toolkits and resources for elections and for journalists. In this example, this toolkit goes step by step to help evaluate some of the risks that a journalist might face. So, whether it's an independent journalist, a watchdog, or a small newsroom, identifying these risks are the first step to make sure that those risks can be mitigated with different offerings like products or services. The Cyber Readiness Institute is a multi-sector global partnership that provides free starter kits to small and medium-sized businesses. Now, I like to think of campaigns as small businesses in and of themselves. You're going to have a lot of people with a lot of responsibility, and sometimes there's not as much structure as within large businesses. So it reinforces the idea that people are going to be the most important aspect of any security plan. And having an open and honest dialogue about the role that everyone plays in the organization when it comes to security is the best thing any organization can do for themselves. Every organization should be running some sort of service that provides extra levels of protection. In this case, the example here is Google. They have an advanced protection program. This is Google's highest security offering, and it's designed for folks who are at risk of elevated attacks, the sophisticated and highly targeted online attacks that you would normally see from a highly motivated attacker like a nation state. This is designed to protect folks like journalists, activists, elected officials who are using Google for their mail or for their document storage. And the best part about it is it's available at no cost for those that qualify. Another vendor, Microsoft, offers a similar program through their Defending Digital Democracy program. It's called Account Guard. Again, this is a higher level of protection for those folks who are at a higher level of risk. It protects email, documents, and communications. Now, for the rest of us who are going to be on social media, and I'm assuming most of us are, Facebook offers Facebook Protect. Again, this is for the folks who are at a higher level of risk, who are online, making sure that they're getting in touch with their friends, family, and community members. Facebook Protect offers additional levels of protection, and it's available at no cost. Twitter offers a similar program where they have extra levels of protection for those elected officials and for candidates. It offers a series of labels and other mechanisms to make sure that when folks interact with those candidates or elected officials on platform, they know that they are speaking to the correct person and not someone who's impersonating an account and trying to either damage or steal data. Now, TikTok might be an unusual addition here to the presentation, but work with me. Wherever people are having conversations, they'll ultimately start talking about whatever interests them. So even on an entertainment platform like TikTok, there are additional security measures that folks should be aware of that are happening. There are reporting tools and actually media literacy educational tools that are available to make sure that those conversations are happening in a way that isn't damaging to the folks around them and helping to spread misinformation rather than prevent the spread of misinformation. I'm going to go through a number of additional free tools and resources. Don't worry about writing all of this down right now. It will all be available to you at the end of the presentation. So let's start with just a handful. When I'm doing research and I want to find out more about some of the conversations that are happening online that might have some malicious intent, I look to the Hamilton 2.0 dashboard. This is really designed for journalists to get a clearer understanding of those authoritarian regimes like perhaps Iran or China who are pushing a particular narrative and trying to instill mistrust and disinformation into the American political conversation and the conversation of other democracies around the world. Another tool that I like to use is factcheck.org. Sometimes I come across a story online that seems too good to be true, or I just don't know what to believe. So I go to factcheck.org, where fact checkers have gone through the claims to analyze legitimacy of those claims and make a determination. It's a great way to help prevent the spread of misinformation and disinformation. Here you'll see some posters from CISA. What I like about this resource is that it leans more into the visual side. So that way it gets the message across about everyone's role in helping to stop disinformation. It provides concrete recommendations of what we can do to help prevent the spread of misinformation and disinformation and help to stop the sowing of discontent in our American political process. Lastly, here are some federal policies that the federal government is putting in place to help protect elections as a part of an overall push to help improve the defensive posture of all critical infrastructure. One I'd like to call your attention to in particular is good faith research. Here's an example of the Department of Justice putting out a communication to let folks know that there are, in fact, researchers who are out there who are examining some of these election systems and trying to put forth a good faith effort to make sure that they report vulnerabilities that they find so that they can be patched in time. I encourage you to reach out to some of those researchers, or perhaps be open to having them reach out to you if they do find vulnerabilities and they want to responsibly disclose them. And with that, thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to hearing how some of these tools may have helped you improve your own defensive posture as you're considering what you need to do to protect yourself and your organizations in preparation for the midterm elections. Adam, back to you.